Hello, and welcome back to Lunch and Learn, the Lead's video podcast, where we take an in-depth look at the art scene here in Lincoln and the arts industry as a whole. Today, we are diving into the world and music of the Amazon Prime video series, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. The award-winning TV show has dazzled audiences with the classic sounds of the early 1960s, like doo-wop, rhythm, and blues. With the beginning of September, we are now in full-blown Emmy season, and season 3 of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel has earned the show 20 nominations, including Outstanding Original Music and Lyrics. Today, we'll be chatting with the composer and lyricist team behind the soundtrack, Thomas Miser and Curtis Moore, about their first Emmy nomination and the creativity that earned them a nod from the Television Academy. I'm Ryan Savage, an education and outreach specialist here at The Lead, and here with me to discuss is The Lead's communications manager, Lauren Silverman Durbin. Lauren, I'm excited to have you on today.
Ryan, I am so excited to be here, and I'm so glad that you asked me to join you on this particular Lunch and Learn. I know you didn't even know this when you asked me, but I am absolutely obsessed with The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Yes.
I didn't start watching till season 2 came out, and then I binged the entire 2 first seasons. And then when season 3 came out, I binged that right away, and I am so looking forward to season 4. Primarily, I mean, there's a million good things about this show, but it's also such a good show for Broadway nerds. There are Broadway, like you and I, Ryan.
Yes, I know.
There are Broadway stars all over this. I mean, you obviously get like Tony winner Tony Shalhoub in just about every episode.
Yeah.
Zachary Levi is a huge part of season 2. But then if you keep your eyes open, and you'll see this, Ryan, I know because you're still working your way through the series, Broadway stars pop up all over the place. In season 2, they go to the Catskills, and there's a girl at camp, and it's Laura Dreyfus from Dear Evan Hansen, like just briefly in half an episode. And then like Brandon Uranowitz is in there, and Katrina Lenk and Christopher Fitzgerald. And you have to keep your eyes open because half of Broadway makes cameos at various points in The Marvelous.
So it's like a prerequisite, you know, if you want to be on Broadway, you have to hit the Maisel first.
Absolutely, because, you know, that show comes along every once in a while that everybody on Broadway wants to be a part of. Right now, it's
like Law and Order.
Yes, exactly. West Wing, once upon a time.
Yes.
And also, I'm not going to give anything away because I know you're not there yet. But there is a scene towards the end of season 3 that was the single most anxious 10 minutes of television I have ever been part of in my whole life. It's slowly unfolds that you know something bad is going to happen. And I was so engrossed that I guess I was standing in my bedroom saying, "Oh no, oh no," so many times that my husband came to check on me. He thought something was happening. I can't wait for you to get there. You'll have to text me when you get there because it is just the most engrossing show. So part of what makes The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel so wonderful is the music, both really interesting and creative uses of music from the 50s and 60s, and also some fabulous original music, which is why we are here today. To give you a taste, let's take a look at the season 3 trailer of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, featuring some of that Emmy-nominated music.
This is the first of a million tours.
This is the big leagues, kid. Gotta start acting like professionals. Susie Meyerson, remember the face?
Yes, sir.
Susie Meyerson, remember the face. That guy doesn't work here. What? Hey, give me that bat.
I met this perfectly marvelous girl in this perfectly wonderful place as I lifted a glass to the start of a marvelous year. Before you knew it, she called on the phone.
Little warning would have been nice.
Go, 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 go.
I was no longer alone, but sad, delighting.
I am not a prostitute. I'm a comic.
Is there a difference?
Yes, prostitutes get paid more.
Hilarious. You should go into comedy.
I did.
In truly remarkable scenes.
From here we go to LA, Chicago, Miami.
Style. How she dazzled my senses was truly no less than a crime.
I love Vegas.
I stepped up. I'm here.
Oh, and I'm not?
No, you're not.
You're in Florida.
Opening for Shy was theoretical before. Now it's not. I'm really nervous.
You're gonna be great.
You see the world. The audiences, when they're great, are really great. And you're not having to go to your grave not having done anything interesting.
Is your girl gonna get good?
She is gonna be a goddamn legend.
I am, for the first time in my life, taking charge of my own destiny.
Well, that can't end badly at all.
And now this wild, unpredictable girl on this perfectly magical ride will be grabbing her moment and having the marvelous
You'll always be my number one. Thank you very much.
Wow, Lauren, there is just so much I love about that trailer. And I did, we saw Tony Shalhoub. And so there was a few names, if you guys were paying attention, watching along, that you saw some of those people that Lauren was talking about. But one of the reasons that I really, really love the trailer and why I started watching the show was it's just so musical. Even before, I know that when I was speaking with Thomas and Curtis, that they joined for season 3 to write that original music. But even before season 3, as you know, the show always felt like a musical, but it wasn't a musical. And I think that they just merged that so seamlessly, where they were able to communicate the era and the style without sacrificing kind of the TV aspect of it and staying true to that storytelling. And I just think it does it so well. I mean, even with the trailer, you saw like at the beginning, those first 3 hits where there's the clicks and everyone's head turns. It feels like musical staging. So you know what you're getting yourself into, which is why I really love it.
Yeah, the music is almost an additional character.
Yeah.
In this show throughout. Well, all that talk of musicality and style leads us to our special guests today, and I'm so excited to get to them. Thomas Miser and Curtis Moore, the composer and lyricist duo behind the soundtrack of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Miser and Moore are an accomplished writing team, winning the Fred Ebb Award for Excellence in Musical Theater Songwriting and a Jonathan Larson grant from the American Theater Wing. In 2019, the pair brought their musical theater talents to the screen and began working on Maisel, which has skyrocketed them all the way to an Emmy nomination. Last week, Ryan got to sit down with Miser and Moore to talk about that Emmy nomination and what it was like creating the original music for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Well, hi, Tom. Hi, Curtis. Welcome to Lunch and Learn. We're really excited to talk about your work on the show, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and your recent Emmy nomination.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes. Here. Thank you. Can you tell our audience a little bit about who you are as a writing team and how you got started working on The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel?
Sure. I'll jump in with how we got together. We actually started writing together in college, sort of how many years ago?
But, just a couple.
Yeah, just a couple years ago. And yeah, we were thrown together as a writing team and met each other and hit it off and have been writing together ever since, which is a rare thing to have a partner that you gel with and trust so much that you can have that kind of long-term relationship.
Yeah, exactly. We have been working together for a long time. And the second part of your question, we've been, we're theater writers primarily. That's kind of our background. And we write a lot of songs and shows for theater. And Tom and I were actually paired up with Amy Sherman Palladino on a blind date many years ago to work on a theater project. And so we know her from that world, and we've been working on a piece with her. And there was a kind of a moment in the middle of that process where she said, listen, I've got this very small thing I'm doing for Amazon.
Small.
It's just going to be a few months, and then we'll jump back in. Of course, it turned out to be Maisel. So that's our in there, is that, when she needed original song, she came to us.
This is the big leagues, kid. Gotta start acting like professionals.
Okay, so let's talk about One Less Angel. The song is catchy, it's joyful, it really speaks to the era, and it is one of the pieces that got you guys the Emmy nomination. So can you explain to our viewers what the process is when you write music for TV, and then what it's like to turn around and shoot the scene that we just saw?
Sure. The great thing is that it's probably different for every TV show. You never know. But with Amy Sherman Palladino and her husband, Dan Palladino, they're such huge music fans. and they're so knowledgeable about music that they're incredible partners because they're bringing you in to collaborate, not just sort of write a song and drop it in a show. Yeah. They are so specific about music. If you watch the show, even before original songs, they use so much music, it felt like a musical. So they came to us. There's a new character in the 3rd season. His name is Shy Baldwin, and he's supposed to be a pop star of the era, and they really wanted it to feel like he had his own album. So he wasn't just singing covers, that he had his own identity, that if you went down to a used record store, you would find his album maybe. So that was our task. And Amy called us up and said, hey guys, do you think you could write some songs for him? And she kind of wanted them to be somewhere. She sort of said, I kind of see him as Johnny Mathis meets Sam Cooke, which, you know, those two singers, they're incredibly different. Like they have very, very different styles. So that was fun to kind of go in and create who Shy Baldwin was. And we got kind of that.
Exactly. And also what was kind of fantastic, as Tom was kind of hinting at here, is that Amy and Dan do bring us in to collaborate. So once we wrote and recorded the song, we record it all first, and then we perform it to track on set. We also were brought in to be there on set, and every time they did one of our songs, because we did about 5, I think, for the season, we would always be there on set because we would also be sort of in charge of making sure, helping out to make sure that everything you're seeing on screen is matching what we've recorded, so that you have all the right instruments and everyone's playing the right notes, because they're very detail oriented and they want it to look, authentic. And I think they did such a great job, and it was a real joy to be on set for those moments, because they're just such big epic moments, especially the first one where we're at the USO and we show up to the set and there's 800 extras, singing.
That was 800 people.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a full,
it looks huge.
The thing you realize about Maisel is that it's not trickery. They create these environments that you feel like you're in a time machine. We walked into this hangar. It was in Long Island, out on Long Island. And They had this hangar filled with 800 guys, all had to have their hair cut to full 60 style. They have these people like shaving heads and working, all in costume. And you're wandering through, and there are Jeeps going by, and there's
you're like, I walked into a time warp.
Absolutely, you believe it. And the other thing you can see in that clip that was, we think, unintentional at first, was the extras started singing along to the song because they were enjoying it and they'd heard it. And I guess it was catchy enough, thank goodness, that they fell in love with it too. And they just start singing along. So they turn the cameras on the soldiers to capture their reaction. And they used that as part of the episode, which was sort of incredible.
Wow.
Your eyes touch mine, and your light is all I can see. Could there be one last angel in heaven? Come to one last angel in heaven. Must be one last angel in heaven, 'cause you're here smiling at me. Strings play, you move my way. I'm soaring now, I guarantee there must be one last angel in heaven. Don't tell one last angel in heaven. Must be one last angel in heaven. 'Cause look who's dancing with me. I'm scared to close my eyes and open them to find your way.
Sort of incredible.
Wow. Especially that it was organic, that it wasn't planned.
It was, and it just helped to add to the effect that the song you're seeing is a big hit for Shy Baldwin, because that's his hit. That's what you're seeing.
Yeah, and it really was a hit.
Exactly.
It was a special moment for us. Yeah, too.
That's really
they
awesome.
brought us out on the set, on the stage, to watch the guys singing. at one point they said, you got to see this. And they brought us out. So it was a nice magic moment.
Yeah, of course. So there was just one thing that you said a little bit earlier about how they bring you guys on set to make sure everything is happening exactly how you imagine it with the notes and everything. So was there like live music then while they were filming it, and then they overlay that with recordings and everything? Like were people actually performing?
Yeah, well, what they do is it's kind of great. They actually hire actual musicians to play the musicians on screen. So, and some of them are the same musicians that we used in the studio to record it. So, we record all the songs first. We write, orchestrate, and we record it in a studio with, and there's another actor, Darius DeHaas, who's an amazing singer. He's the voice of Shy Baldwin, whereas Leroy McLean is the actor who plays. So they're different people, and he's lip syncing to the recording in the same way that all the instrumentalists are lip syncing, lip playing. I don't know what you call that.
Miming.
And so when you're on set, what's great is because they cast all these musicians, they have all the same parts that we played with in the studio. And in a lot of cases, they've learned and memorized them. So they are playing. If you were to listen, you would hear music being played a little bit on set, sort of. But most of the time, because they're trying to get audio, sometimes with dialogue, they have to even mime that. They can't really be playing, but they have to look like they're playing. It's really amazingly complicated because the whole thing is played back to a click track. So they'll say action, and then you'll hear, and then the song will start coming out of the sound system, and they're lip syncing to that. And they do that so that everything is clicked up. They can do many, many, many edits and takes, and they'll all sync up when they get into post.
The cool thing though is if you watch episode 5 of the third season, there's a song we wrote called "Make Mine a Double" that takes place at this sort of Playboy After Dark sort of TV show. And they actually recorded that live on the set. The band actually played because Amy wanted it to feel like a cocktail party. So the singer they hired actually was a pianist too. He played and sang the song take after take after take. So sometimes they do that. But it's trickery again because he starts to sing it, and as the camera pulls away from him, he starts miming, because dialogue started to happen. So they laid the recording that we did over the rest of it so that it all syncs up and so they could record the dialogue properly. So it's technically really incredible to watch.
Yeah, it's really incredible to watch how they do it.
Very different from live theater.
And because in that moment too, because I find this nerdy as a music guy, that they had to hide a ton of microphones in all these random places all over the set to pick up these live players because we weren't doing a pre-recorded to that song. And it's just the technical know-how and skill level on that set is just incredible.
That's awesome. Well, I am working my way towards season 3. I'm on season 1 right now. I have TV shows for the pandemic, and so I'm on Maisel. So I'll shoot you guys an email once I get through season 3. But I've listened to the soundtrack and it sounds great. So shifting gears a little, let's talk about the Emmys. So the Emmys are going to be looking a little different this year due to COVID, of course. And the idea of a virtual ceremony sounds very made for TV. Can you explain for our viewers what they should expect to see when they tune in?
Well, it's a little bit of a mixed bag because our category is considered one of the below the line or technical categories. They show those on nights prior to the big Emmy ceremony. And those, it's going to be all pre-taped. They're going to cut it all together with pre-taped elements, and you can watch that online. So we'll be watching online. We'll be dressed up at home in our tuxes and just
pajamas on the lower half.
Exactly. That sounds like my graduation. I had my Zoom for my family set up, and I was dressed up and we were watching the TV. So that sounds exactly.
We're gonna do the same thing. We're actually gonna have a Zoom red carpet with our family and friends, and have everyone wear old prom dresses and bridesmaid dresses.
Right. I love it.
And then the actual night of the big Emmys, the sort of actors and best comedy series, it's going to be a mixed thing. They're going to do live feeds from people's homes. They're going to do all kinds of stuff. I think it's going to be as much of a surprise to us as it is to you. It should be very interesting, and you're probably going to get a peek into people's houses that are much.
You'll see this.
That's what I want to see. That's one of the best parts about all this Zoom, everything going on Zoom, is seeing the inside of people's houses. You don't need those home shows anymore because you've seen everything.
Yeah, wait till you see Amy Sherman-Palladino and Dan Palladino's house. They've got some great stuff.
fantastic.
Awesome. Well, I guess I'm just wondering, how does it feel to be nominated for an Emmy, since it is your guys' first? And was writing for TV always part of the plan, or it sounds like it was a little bit of an opportunity that just came your way? Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think, to answer the question, the first one, we're incredibly honored, and it's really awesome to be recognized, because that is what we were working for and toward when we were working on Maisel, was kind of really bringing our skills from theater world into what we do, and we really worked hard for that. So it's incredibly great to get recognized for that. We don't take that lightly. It's a really, really great thing that people in the TV world look to what we've done and have given us a shout out. So that's really, really great. And then, and I think we're, just like that, because we are theater writers. I can't say that it was on our short-term plan right away to do that. We've always loved how theater writers have come into work in television film. The Disney films, Alan Menken, Howard Ashman, our friends Jeff and Bobby Lopez, and those are people that come from the theater world that have done great things. And so I think we're really happy to get a chance to do that as well. And I think as theater songwriters, we have a lot to say about story and art, and that kind of stuff. That's stuff that we really enjoy. So we'd love to do a lot more of it. We really had a fantastic time working on Maisel, and we'd love to do more.
The thing about getting the opportunity with Maisel is that you're not just jumping into a show that's just any show. You're jumping into the best of the best. I mean, this is a show that we are one of 20 Emmy nominations for the show. You're everyone on that team, from the top to the sound guys that we were working with, the people in the studio, the actors, everybody is top of their game, which was such an incredible gift to us to be able to work with the best of the best and really learn from the best, so that by the time we got to our fourth and fifth song, to be a part of that team and feel like a part of the team was a real lesson and something that we feel like we can go forward and take what we've learned and really feel like we're ready to do more. We're excited to do more in TV and film now.
Alrighty, well, I just want to extend a warm thank you to you both, and thank you for joining us on the show today and for telling us all about the lovely and marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and good luck to your guys' Emmy nomination.
Thank you
so much.
I love them so much. They are both just lovely.
They are. It was so amazing to just pick their brains. And then they're just so great to talk to, and they're just so humble, but have so much going for them. And it's really amazing to hear that they've been so successful so far. And I'm really hoping that their Emmy pulls through.
I hope so too. I have to say my favorite part about what they had to say was how they got to create who Shy Baldwin is, to come in and not write for an established character, but there's the introduction of this new character that will become very important. And it was also the introduction of original music into the series, right? Up to that point, it had all been new arrangements and new recordings of previously existing things. So for them to get to come in and create this character is so cool. Because one of my favorite things that Maisel does is they use stars from the era, like Lenny Bruce is a major character in the show, but then also create these characters that feel like they really could have been stars from the era, like Shy Baldwin, and his music feels like it absolutely could have been a hit then. I mean, ever since you sent me the video of your interview with them a couple days ago, I've had One Less Angel running in my head.
Right? Exactly what they said about at the show with where people actually were singing along. It's catchy, and it really sounds like you could just pull it out of a record shop.
Absolutely. And how amazing for them to come into season 3 of this really established, hugely successful show that's already won all these Emmys. And here, create a character and write all his songs, and let's do original music, ready, go. What an amazing and terrifying experience that must have been.
Yeah, especially because they didn't skip a beat at all. You know, when you listen, like exactly everything you said, it sounds like it's from the era, even though they're these contemporary composers who write contemporary music theater. They just have a knack for that style and for creating the characters and putting their own twist on it. And one of the things I really enjoyed when I was doing the interview was hearing that little tidbit about the other episode in season 3 in like the smoky bar, which I haven't seen yet, of course.
Yeah.
But you've seen that scene. And hearing how they filmed that and all the technical craft that went into filming that scene, it reminded me I won a lottery ticket. And I saw the Tony Awards in 2017. I was all the way in the back. I didn't have a great seat or anything, but I was sitting next to these 2 older women from Wisconsin, and they had crackers and they brought binoculars to watch. And I didn't realize why until everything started, of course.
Always find yourself a prepared older woman. She will give you crackers. And
yes, exactly. And it was, when you're watching it as a live audience member, it looks nothing like it does on TV. And there are people actually, camera crews running around on stage during all these magnificent scenes from theater, and they're capturing it for all the live TV audiences around the world. And so it just kind of reminded me that it's such a different experience live than you would see in TV. Also, I didn't have binoculars, so but yes, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Well, next time when you're nominated, you'll be much closer and you won't need binoculars.
Yes, we'll both go, Lauren. And then maybe you can elaborate a little bit on this if you would like to. But one of the reasons that I've been watching the series too, and have kept watching it, is outside of the music, I think that it's a really powerful story told in a really human way in comedy, with Maisel, how she finds her voice as a woman in the 1960s. And I remember the first episode just seeing everything that she was doing to craft this perfect life for herself, which is the same things we do now, but of course it was just so different back then. And I love how great it is at telling that story. And I think that's why people also are really drawn to it.
Yeah, and she makes a lot of mistakes along the way, which is part of what I love. It is not at all a clear path from maybe I should try this to success. That's part of what makes it such a human story, is how many times she messes up along the way. And there's all the complications of, should she be a mother first? Should she go after her career? And so while it's set in the late 50s, early 60s, there's something about all of that that feels very contemporary and still very much relevant to our lives today.
Yeah, I completely agree. So yes, I'm going to keep watching, and I will text you with as I finish every season to give you my update and let you know what I think. But now, it's time to close out with one of my favorite segments of Lunch and Learn, what we're watching this week. So all of you can tune in on some of the best content that the industry has to offer. And this week, I'm getting my tickets to the Lead Center's special virtual premiere of the film Stono. It's our first production back on the main stage. We're really excited about it. Stono stars the company of Step Africa, and it tells the story of the Stono Rebellion through step dance and rhythm. And for anyone who isn't a history buff, the Stono Rebellion occurred in 1739 when 20 Africans marched south to freedom in Spanish Florida, which was actually the first active rebellion ever in colonial America, predecessor to 1776.
Yeah, so pre-Boston Tea Party.
Yes, I know, the OG, which, yeah, it's great. You can snag your tickets on our website, www.leadcenter.org. We'll be premiering the film next Wednesday, September 9th at 6:45 p.m. on the main stage, accompanied by a virtual Q&A discussion with the company of Step Africa.
And that is free, by the way. Tickets to that are free. You do have to make a reservation. You need an actual ticket, but it's free for anybody that would like to join us. And it actually, all of the themes of protest and what it meant and what rebellion is are very, very relevant today. And part of what that live discussion afterwards is going to be with scholars from around the nation is how do early rebellions inform even what we're seeing in politics today. So it's going to be a really, really exciting event. I'm going to go in a completely different direction with what I'm watching. Part of, I think, what's been fun about all this time that we're home lately, one of the upsides is kind of revisiting some of the old classics and shows that maybe we haven't watched in a while. I seem to have missed the memo 20 years ago on The West Wing. Speaking of the Emmys, they won every Emmy there was, right, in the late 90s and early 2000s. Yeah. And so many amazing performances and Broadway cameos. The thing I'm getting out of it right now is if politics has got you down, The West Wing is like political sorbet. It's, these really human, flawed characters who deeply want to do the right thing for the country, and they're trying the best they can. And there's the big reunion coming up too. So that is on Netflix through the end of 2020. Is that news to you, Ryan? Did you not know there's a West Wing reunion happening?
I did not, and I love West Wing, Lauren. I'm so glad you brought it up. Like, I've seen every single episode. I've watched every single episode, I think 3 times. Like,
Seriously?
Yes, it is like everything you said. It's wonderful, and it's what you want politics to be. It's like what we really acclaim to.
Well, they're getting together. It's part of Michelle Obama's organization to get the vote out. And they're doing a theatrical staging of an episode, I believe, from season 3. They're completely restaging one of the episodes. And it's going to be available on, I think, the HBO pay service that's available right now. So,
oh my gosh,
yes, that's happening as well.
I need to get HBO.
Yes, you do. Well, if you enjoyed spending time with us today, we would encourage you to donate to the Lead Center's COVID-19 Relief Fund to ensure that the arts and programming like this can remain an essential part of the Lincoln community. You can find the donation link for that on our website. And Ryan, that about wraps up our edition of Lunch and Learn today.
Yes.
There's a new episode on Tuesday, October 6th, first Tuesday of the month, right, Ryan?
Yes, Tuesday, October 6th, and we'll see you there. Hopefully mark your calendars. And a special thanks to Stephen Colonna in the virtual control room, Liv LeBlanc and Matthew Bourne in marketing, and Sapphire Toth, Sasha Dobson, and Jane Schirmeyer Hansen, the education department. And to you, Lauren, we're so happy to have you on today.
Thank you for having me. This is fun.
Yes, it is super fun, and I'm hoping to have you on again. So this series would not be possible without anyone at the Lead, everyone's hard work and their support. And in honor of the Emmys this month, before we sign off today, we have a little throwback to the 2018 Emmys, when the marvelous Mrs. Maisel first appeared on the scene and picked up an outstanding amount of awards. We have a little clip of Rachel, the actor who plays the iconic Mrs. Maisel, when she accepted her Emmy for lead actress in a comedy series. Stay tuned to the stream, and we'll see you soon.
Our next award is for lead actress in a comedy series. Here are the nominees.
At this rate, husband Adam will only be hockey games, ball scratches, and farts.
Figured out what I'm gonna do for my mom.
Put her down, 2 to the back of the head, double tap.
No, I love how we can joke about this.
Could I get some water? Yeah, sure. That's really vodka.
What card? I don't see a card.
My name is Mrs. Maisel. Thank you and good night.
To reveal the winner, please welcome Angela Bassett and this year's winner for Guest Actress in a Comedy Series, Tiffany Haddish.
It is a pleasure to present this award among such a talented group of women.
Yes, so many exceptional actresses.
Well, you've had quite the exceptional year yourself, Tiffany.
I have. Night school, September 28th. But I'm standing here with Angela Bassett. Royalty.
Yes, and now let's get down to business.
Okay, let's do it. She ready. The Emmy for lead actress in a comedy series goes to
Rachel Brosnahan. The marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Thank you. Oh, bye.
No, okay. There you go.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Wow. Thank you guys so much. Hi. Okay. Thank you to our brilliant writers and creators, Amy Sherman Palladino and Dan Palladino. I'll be thanking you for the rest of my life for trusting me with your Midge. Thank you to all of our producers, to our team at Amazon, to Jeff and Jen and Mark and Ken and Albert and Donna. Thank you to our incredible cast and our cast and our earth-shatteringly talented crew. This is insane. Thank you to my team at CAA and Ken Lee and Carol and Ted, my friends and my family. You are absolutely everything to me. And one of the things I love the most about this show, while I have you captive for another 2 seconds, is that it's about a woman who's finding her voice anew. And it's something that's happening all over the country right now. One of the most important ways that we can find and use our voices is to vote. So if you haven't already registered, do it on your cell phone right now. Vote, show up, and bring a friend to the polls. Thank you so much.